What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today we are watching a video. We're watching a video by Plus. Hold on, this shit loud. We watched a video by Plus called "What If the Human Z Fighters Became Saiyans Finale." Yeah. And then there's a GT one after this, so we're gonna watch that as well. But we watched the finale of this today, and so it's been a great story, actually, man. I can't wait to finish it, man. And let me know how y'all felt about this down below, and like, comment, subscribe, and Lego.
We resume on Beerus' planet as Supreme Kai and Goku return from their visit with Lord Zeno. Having expected them, Whis and Beerus are there to greet the duo, though when they lay eyes on the Kai and Saiyan, they are shocked to see the disparity in their expressions. While Goku's eyes are alight with excitement and a broad grin is plastered across his face, Shin looks like a man being led to the gallows, and as Whis tentatively asks what happened, the pair answer in unison, saying something great and terrible has happened respectively. Still in tandem, Goku and Shin then explain that the Omni King has greenlit Goku's idea for a multiversal tournament, though here, Shin continues alone, adding that unlike other tournaments, the price to defeat is universal erasure. Beerus and Whis are both flabbergasted by this news, though to their surprise, so is Goku, who gasped that he didn't hear that part of the deal, admitting that he kinda spaced out after Zenny said he could fight the strongest guys from other universes. At this, all eyes fall on the Saiyan, with an apoplectic Beerus informing him that the only reason he is not being destroyed right now is because his strength will be needed in the tournament, while Shin hurries to catch Goku up on the rest of the rules, correctly surmising that he missed those too. When he is done, Beerus has thankfully had a bit of time to calm down, though he still gives Goku a piercing glare, as he informs the mortal that since he got them into this mess, it'll be up to him to recruit other fighters, with Goku gulping that he's on it, placing 2 fingers on his forehead and zipping back to Earth as fast as he can. Running through options in his head, Goku quickly determined that Vegeta, Krillin, Yamcha, and Gohan are 4 of the strongest defenders Earth has, making them essential candidates. As for the remaining 5, that's where things get a little harder, but maybe his first 4 picks will have ideas of their own, so he can just ask them. A short while later, the 5 fighters stand assembled on the grounds of Capsule Corp, with Goku having filled them in on the situation. Naturally, no one is happy with this turn of events, though for the sake of the universe, everyone puts their focus into coming up with additional candidates, so they can get to work on preparing for the tournament power. Speaking up first, Yamcha suggests Tien, reminding that the X-Saiyan is still as strong as ever, with Vegeta backing up this guard man, and agreeing that the Triclops should be among their number. Speaking of numbers, Krillin proposes that 17 and 18 also join them, reminding the other Saiyans of their power and unique abilities, something which may be vital with so many of their forces being Saiyans.
Okay, so
while Gohan adds that for the final 2 slots, he believes Piccolo and Future Trunks to be the wisest candidates. Having no objections to any of these choices, the group then split up with Vegeta going to fetch Trunks, Krillin flying off in the direction of his home to invite his wife and brother-in-law, Yamcha heading for Tien's place, and Gohan departing to inform Piccolo. This leaves Goku without a job, and so he decides to head home as well, since it's about lunchtime, and he's sure Chi-Chi's made something delicious. Fortunately, he is right, and as he digs into his mountain of food, Goku begins explaining to his wife the predicament they're in. Less fortunately, Chi-Chi is not the only one listening, as from his room, Goten hears his dad spilling the beans, and feeling this is something the others should know, he sends a quick summary in the Hybrid Kids group chat. Understandably, the threat of universal erasure comes as a shock to the half-Saiyans, though being the savviest among them, Kurizu points out that this could be the opportunity they've been waiting for. From her experience, their dads will need sparring partners to prepare for such a big tourney, so if they play their cards right, they can make a deal to help them train in exchange for being allowed to go on the mission to Namek Future Trunks was talking about. Calling the ginger girl a genius, the hybrids then confront their respective fathers, accusing them of trying to hide the tournament from them, and using the leverage this creates to propose their desired bargains. To their surprise, the kids do not have to push hard for this, as the Saiyan and ex-Saiyan fathers all agree that having their hybrid progeny to train against would maximize their chances of growing strong enough to win the tournament, and so agree, provided they all survive, thus lighting an even hotter fire under the kids. As a result, the next few days are spent in grueling training with Guri and Kurizu doing tag team sparring against their dads, while Goten and Marin work alongside Goku, Gohan, Krillin, 17, 18, and Piccolo. Even Kid Trunks fervently gets in on the action, training for Vegeta and his future self, who had fortuitously decided to stay in the present a little while longer with Mai, so that he could train with powerful partners now that his timeline was safe enough for such a risk. The night before they are set to depart, a small strategic gathering is held, much less festively than most gatherings at Capsule Corp. And in this time, Master Roshi, after being consulted by his students, once again makes a decision, hereby passing on the title of Turtle Hermit to Krillin, and announcing his intentions to end his solitude and go adventuring once again, having bestowed all he has to teach, and trusting that his students will carry on and evolve the Turtle Way, even if his initial response to some of their shortcuts to power wasn't all too welcoming. He can now plainly say he's grateful they fought to make sure his retirement was peaceful. And so, he departs. And as he goes, just as he hoped, his Saiyan students' rivalry is relit for a moment, as the trio end up deciding to sneak off to make sure Krillin has earned the title. Thus, it is that Dende and Popo end up accommodating a last-minute hardcore training session in the time chamber, and subsequently end up repairing and replacing gis with new colors and symbols to reflect everyone's journeys.
Okay.
Eventually, however, the day of fate arrives, and so 10 fighters of Universe 7 depart for the world of Void, as their loved ones wish them luck and pray for victory more than they have prayed for anything in their entire lives. Arriving at the arena, the Z fighters survey their rivals curiously, recognizing half of the Universe 6 team from the tournament with Champa, though they are not the only ones there, as 80 fighters of all shapes and sizes now stand at attention, as the Grand Priest declares that now that they are all here, the Tournament of Power can officially begin. Due to there being no future Zeno, there is no need for an exhibition match, meaning the main event kicks off immediately. And in the most fitting manner, the first fight of the tournament is between Yamcha and the kicking fiend Basil, along with his brothers Bergamo and Lavender. Unluckily for the trio de Danger, even together they are no match for the scarred Saiyan, with him not even needing to use a godly form in order to dispatch the dogs, and yet doing so anyway, as his desire to set the tone the coolest way possible was still ingrained in him, no matter how much he matured as a man and a warrior. And so, even as Bergamo gigantifies and his brothers kick and sling poison at him, Yamcha sends them flying with a godly Wolfang fist. Meanwhile, the other Saiyans have also predictably haired off in search of their own fights, leaving Gohan, Trunks, Piccolo, Tien, and the androids to stand their ground in the starting area. Normally, this would be alright, with strength and numbers working in their favor. Though thanks to word getting around that the 7th is to blame for the potential destruction of all their universes, the other teams have all seemingly decided to eliminate them first as punishment. Recognizing this, Gohan's team captain urges them all to scatter, with the rest of his teammates splitting up, though not before they all share a promise to back each other up if things get dicey. To this end, Gohan, Piccolo, and Trunks all head off in roughly the same direction, with it being fortunate that they do, as soon they find themselves ambushed by a pair of Universe 6 fighters who were not in the last tournament, Sal, Nell, and Polina, the Namekian warriors. Using their skillful teamwork, the two Super Namekians box Gohan and Piccolo in, though when Trunks attempts to save them, he's confronted by a duo of his own, Botomo riding atop Mageddon. Knowing this latter pair's weakness, Gohan tells his fellow half-Saiyan to insult the Metal Man, though when Trunks tries, he finds that Botomo has blocked Mageddon's ears, making him impervious to his fatal flaw, and allowing him to charge at full steam towards the purple-haired man. Thankfully, being a quick-witted young man, Trunks is able to come up with a backup, firing a Masenko at the ground right in front of Mageddon, which at his current speeds the Metal Man cannot dodge, resulting in him tripping on the newly created pothole and accidentally bucking his rider, sending him soaring over the edge and out of bounds. However, the gelatinous bear is not alone long, as channeling his father, Trunks mocks that Mageddon really is a screw-up for eliminating his own teammate, and the Metal Man bursts into tears and runs off the edge as well, allowing Trunks to even the odds. Meanwhile, the newly mentored Master Krillin is making eliminations of his own left, right, and center, having been targeted by the tricky fighters of Universe 4. Unfortunately for them, no one on Team Universe 7 is better equipped to handle them than the former sneaky charlatan of the Aurum Temple, with him using all his wiles to wipe them out in the truest homage to the Turtle Hermit way he could imagine, resulting in them being the first universe eliminated completely from the tournament. However, this comes at a heavy cost to Krillin's stamina, with him soon finding himself rather drained. And though his Saiyan instincts urge him to press on and adapt, his human pragmatism wins out, with him retreating to join his allies, as he knows that all he'll accomplish by rushing in alone is to get himself eliminated. In contrast, Vegeta has very much dedicated himself to the pursuit of individual glory, having picked off all but one member of Team Universe 10, that being Omni. However, for reasons unknown, Vegeta cannot seem to land a single blow on the veiny green fighter, with all his attacks missing by wide margins, which allows Omni to in turn pummel him. Thankfully, help comes in the form of Tien, who, recognizing his rival's plight, tells him to stop aiming for the prismatic afterimages and focus on the main body. Testily, Vegeta asks what exactly the Triclops means, as he can't see any afterimages. Though oddly enough, it is Omni who answers, complimenting Tien's sight, as he's never met an opponent who can see his shades. He then respectfully confirms that the Earthling is correct, saying that his ki control is so acute he can throw off another fighter's perception of where he is. And seeing this for the danger it really is, Tien instructs Vegeta to let him handle this fight. Though it galls him, Vegeta respects Tien enough as a warrior and a rival to grant him this request, stepping
are these nipples, nigga?
back and allowing the human to take his place in front of Omni.
Okay,
the pair of martial artists then engage in a flurry of blows, and as they do and it's made clear that they are seemingly equals, something funny happens. Tien's sight becomes clearer and clearer, as now not only can he see Omni's shades, but he can distinctly see the other fighters around him.
I think Tien came a long way. I'm sorry, hold on, let me bring this video up real quick, man. Why Gohan was doing this to Pierre, bro? I don't know why I'm thinking about it. I probably won't get monetized for the video no more. Why Gohan do that to that man, bro? Shout out Tien, bro.
Well, with his field of vision growing until he can see the entire arena, as though his vision is no longer restricted to himself, but instead like he's become the eye of a god, granting him total spatial awareness much deeper than any key sense could grant. As this happens, so does a physical change occur, with Vegeta and Omni both noticing that Tien's pupils have faded away, being replaced by a white light that shines from his third eye. In this new God's Eye state, Tien is not only able to see everything around him, but also draw in the latent godly ki that resides in it, growing stronger as he fights, until eventually he is able to easily overpower Omni and knock him out of bounds by copying and perfecting his shade technique with a multiform, finishing off the 10th with a volleyball fist. A little shocked by an evolution this late in the game, Vegeta excitedly asks what this transformation is, with Tien a bit in awe himself, pondering if it could be true enlightenment, born of his third eye, a power he once thought himself locked away from. But what else could it be, as he can see and sense all now? He then turns to Vegeta, though at this point, the gesture is more symbolic than necessary, informing the Saiyan that he also sees something in him, the same destructive power as Lord Beerus and the other gods, and one other among their opponents. Though unfortunately, it is still too underdeveloped to be of any use in this tournament. Then, without another word, he departs, heading in the direction of his next challenge, and eager to continue testing this strange power he's reclaimed. Back with Gohan, Trunks, and Piccolo, they have now all gone back-to-back fighting off Saiyans and Krillin, though now that the trio are together, they think they might just be able to turn the tide. Briefly conferring, the three tactical warriors quickly come up with a strategy. Then on Piccolo's command, begin their new combo move, which they dub the Lineage of the Demon School Rush. Starting off the combo is Piccolo, as with a roar, he launches an explosive demon wave at the other two Namekians, stunning them and leaving the door open for Gohan to rush in and knock them both high into the air, where they are in perfect position for Trunks to finish them off with a burning attack, blasting them both out of the ring. Touching down, the trio then all congratulate each other on pulling off the move flawlessly, though now is hardly the time to rest on their laurels, as there are still many more threats yet to come. Never once to be outdone, the Turtle School trio of Goku, Yamcha, and Krillin are currently engaged in a team attack of their own against the monster Prompt, hailing from Universe 2. Previously, Goku had been fighting him alone, but to his surprise, his ability to deflect ki had proven quite a hurdle for the Saiyan. Thankfully, when Yamcha and Krillin add their Kamehamehas to Goku, the resultant beam sends the brutish behemoth bursting backwards, his bulky body battering several other combatants off the edge with him. The force of this attack is even enough to draw the attention of the otherwise uncaring Jiren, with him rising from his meditation to see who unleashed such power. With a hint of cocky swagger, Yamcha steps out from the trio, laughing that it was all him naturally. Though missing the joke entirely, Jiren instead deems Yamcha the largest threat, and so fires a punch at the Scarface Saiyan, with the air pressure alone being enough to send the trio flying off in different directions. With the no flying rule in place, Yamcha lands hard, coming to a stop at the feet of Hit, who bluntly tells him that it looks like he's gotten himself into a real mess this time. Gulping with a vivid memory of this man's performance in the Terminal Destroyers, he says that Hit wouldn't kick a man when he's down, would he? But with a dangerous smile, the assassin replies that on the contrary, the former desert bandit is about to be very useful to him, since while Jiren is focused on Yamcha, he's gonna take the Gray out, and from their bout in the Terminal Destroyers, he knows how good the man should be at this task. A few moments later, the unlikely duo of Yamcha and Hit spring into action, with Yamcha playing the fool as a means to draw Jiren's attention, while Hit begins time-skipping his way around the ring, stealthily building up stored time as he sneaks up behind Jiren. Then, when he's in position, he springs his trap, the Time Prison. Suddenly, Jiren finds himself caught in an orb of frozen time, as with a yell, Hit orders Yamcha to help him out. Deftly, the bandit leaps to his ally's side. Then as one, they begin pushing their quarry towards the edge of the ring. Naturally, Jiren fights back, and with his overwhelming power, Yamcha is quickly forced into his highest form, that being Super Saiyan Blue. However, even this isn't enough, with it looking like Jiren is going to break free and take them both out. Snarling like the wolf for whom he had named his signature attack, Yamcha marshals all his strength for one last godly Wolf-Fang fist, and as he does, he feels a new wellspring of power burst within him. A moment of his own evolution, as he breaks his limits and taps into the power of that black saw in him that caused the fallen Kai to steal his body. Literally, as unbeknownst to any of the Omni King's attendants, the rice cooker holding Zamasu rattles a bit, as some of his ki escapes, being absorbed back into its originator. As a result, when Yamcha flares his aura, it is not the same aqua as his hair, but instead the malefic purple of Super Saiyan Rose, so that when he forms the wolf's bite of the attack, it is with the power of a transformation Yamcha dubs Super Saiyan Blase. From his prison, Jiren's eyes widen as he sees this, recognizing that while the Saiyan may not be able to kill him with that attack, he is obviously strong enough to knock him from the ring. Being unaccustomed to such vulnerability, Jiren examines his options, quickly finding there is only one, which will allow him to survive the attack, and that is to take out Hit as the weaker fighter, and free himself from this time prison before Yamcha's Wolf-Fang fist hits. Springing into action, the Gray fires off a blast, and as luck would have it, this manages to blow the purple alien out of bounds, allowing Jiren to nearly catch Yamcha's fist and save himself. Meanwhile, Yamcha is devastated. dropping to his knees and panting. He put everything into that hit, and it missed.
Yamcha?
Bending down, Jiren lays a hand on the Saiyan's shoulder, almost in a comforting manner, as in his rumbling baritone, he informs Yamcha that he has won his respect as a fighter, and so even when the 7th is gone, Yamcha shall live on in his memories. He then gently shoves the scar-faced bandit forward, and as he tumbles into the void below the ring, he puts his faith in his friends to finish what he started. Speaking of eliminations, Piccolo has also just been knocked off the battlefield by a fused fighter made up of the last remnants of Team Universe 3, going by the name of Anirasa. Now, the amalgamated android's eyes are set squarely on Gohan and Trunks, though fortunately, they will not have to face this monster on their own, as with matching grins, androids 17 and 18 leap into view, asking if the boys will like a hand.
Kick Piccolo out like that?
For a very fleeting moment, Trunks' instincts scream at him to refuse, as the idea of himself and a version of Gohan fighting alongside their tormentors from his timeline is too surreal to accept. However, as he takes a breath, the lavender-haired hybrid reminds himself that these androids are not his androids, any more than this Gohan is his Gohan. All 3 of those fighters are dead. He shall be too unless his team wins this tournament. Taking a fighting stance, Trunks prepares to rush in. Though laying a hand on his shoulder, Gohan asks Trunks if he wants to form Gohanks to combat this fellow fused fighter. But with a shake of his head, Trunks replies that he can't keep relying on fusion like they did in the fight with Black, and the reason he stayed in the past was to get strong enough to protect his timeline on his own. So even if his friend doesn't understand, he needs to fight Anirasa as he is. On the contrary, Gohan replies that he completely understands, backing Trunks up and readying himself to fight as well. Together, the 4 Universe 7 fighters prove themselves a capable strike force, driving Anirasa into a defensive position thanks to the 2 hybrids entering the false Super Saiyan Blue state they attained as Gohanks. However, even with this boost, they are not able to eliminate the Amalgam, who ferociously manages to cling on no matter what they throw at him. Seeing that this is just the kind of dire situation he wanted to prepare himself for, Trunks tells his compatriots to fall back, as he knows what he has to do. And though the others are hesitant to leave him, the lavender-haired man flashes a confident smirk worthy of his father as he tells them to trust him. After all, taking out androids is his specialty. Then, when his allies are out of the way and Anirasa bears down on him, he launches a heat dome attack, finally attaining a true blue form as he pours everything he has into the attack. Against such might, Anirasa and subsequently Universe 3 are eliminated, though this comes at a cost, as the force of Trunks' attack also destroys the ring beneath the young man, sending him tumbling into the void right after his opponent. Meanwhile, in another part of the ring, another fusion is engaged in battle, that being Kefla. As after hearing about the so-called fake Saiyans from Vados, she is eager to try her hands at fighting one, cornering Tien as he seeks out his next opponent. The loud-mouthed Amalgam begins to taunt the man, jeering that of course she ran into him, since not only is he a faker like his 2 friends, but he couldn't even stick with it, wimping out and going back to being a weak earthling. However, before the Triclops can give any type of response, another voice speaks for him, that of Vegeta, as he delivers a painful-looking dropkick to the back of Kefla's head, declaring that Ten Shinhan is just as much of a Saiyan as he is, and far more of one than her. He then tells his rival to keep going, declaring that this makes them even for Omni, and with a nod, Tien departs, leaving Vegeta and Kefla alone. Standing back up, Kefla watches in awe as the Universe 7 Saiyan transforms into a Super Saiyan Blue, gushing that he's gotta teach her how to do that. Though with a scowl, Vegeta scornfully replies that she's not worthy of the form, unlike young Kappa. Scowling now too, Kefla asks why the hell not, to which the prince responds that she's brash, loud-mouthed, and such an arrogant fool that she thinks she can look down on others because of their species. In short, she's just like he used to be, and for that, she disgusts him. He then begins blatantly charging up a Super Galley gun, and though Kefla attempts to rebut this point and attack, it honestly means less than nothing to a Vegeta who's long since gotten over himself, and had also been pushing himself to not only be the strongest Saiyan, but best version of himself he could be. So as he blows her away, it eliminates Team Universe 6. By now, there are only 2 universes left, the 7th and 11th, with the 7th having a clear advantage with 7 fighters to the 11th's 30. Unfortunately, as our heroes soon learn, things can quickly change, as with his superhuman speed, Dispo is able to eliminate Android 18, while Topo's might prove superior to Gohan's, as he goes down too. Thankfully, 17 is able to eliminate Dispo before he can do any further damage, by trapping the rabbit in one of his barriers and using his speed against him as he repeatedly collides with the orbit's interior. Though even this comes at the cost of a double elimination, as 17 has to ride the barrier off the edge to ensure Dispo cannot escape, and so it is that when the endgame begins, it is 4 against 2 for the fate of the realities. First up to fight for the 11th is Topo, and sensing this bulky alien's power, Goku requests the opportunity to take first crack, with his teammates accepting, knowing all too well the burning passion of a Saiyan warrior's pride. And Goku is easily able to back this up, forcing Topo into his candidate form very quickly, and thus drawing his own blue form out. But wanting to claim the ultimate victory, Goku decides to rely on his own finishing move, the Spirit Bomb, to take both Topo and Jiren out at once. However, as he would soon learn, destruction is not a force of evil, but rather of nature, making it neutral and entirely immune to the spirit bomb's effects. And to make matters worse, when the bomb fails to go off, Jiren begrudgingly helps Toppo in catching the overkey and hurling it right back at its originator with twice the speed. Crying out his best friend's name, Krillin rushes in without thinking to save him. Though in his drained state, all he can do is shove him out of the way, taking the hidden Goku's place and vanishing, seemingly winding up dead. Up in the stands, the Omni King and Grand Priest debate whether they should count as the breach of the no-killing rule, and if so, whether it should be Toppo or Goku is erased. As this callous debate is held, 18 has to be held back by Beerus from doing anything stupid. But before a verdict can be reached, a new power spikes in the center of the arena. Looking up, the onlookers witness as Krillin appears as if from a rift in space and time, his beard now carrying a silvery sheen, while his eyes are the color of liquid mercury. Relieved, Goku and Tien smile that they're glad their friend's okay. Though in this moment, Krillin does not look at either of them, instead vanishing only to appear directly in front of Toppo. Worriedly, the destroyer candidate brings up his arms to block, but Krillin is faster, his body moving before his mind.
Okay, Krillin,
this is what allows him to intercept the maneuver, stopping it in his tracks with one arm, while with the other, he takes a hold of Toppo's mustache and begins to swing him around like a dragon, finally sending him spiraling off the edge as he turns a sickly shade of green, while the other fighters are forced to grip into the battlefield to avoid being dragged into the hurricane that's created. Still completely silent, Krillin next turns those silver eyes on Jiren, though before he can make a move to confront the Gray, his power at last gives out, and he drops back to his base form. However, even if Krillin is now unable to fight, Jiren has sensed what might very well be the threat he noticed earlier, and so does not hesitate to take it out while he's down. Knowing that the monk is likely their best shot at beating Jiren, Vegeta and Tien both lunge at the Pride Trooper. While staying back, Goku begins giving Krillin what's left of his energy. Confused, Krillin asks what's happening, though with a chuckle, the Pure Saiyan answers that once again, he's proven himself to be the most reliable guy Goku knows, having surpassed him once again just when they needed it. Thus, this energy is insurance to make sure Goku gets the chance to get even stronger than Krillin is now. Then with no more energy left to give, Goku keels over, taking himself out of the fight for good this time. Refusing to let his best friend's gift be in vain, Krillin does not rush in, instead closing his eyes and clearing his mind. That form, whatever it was, must have been the thing that Whis was trying to teach them. So now all he's got to do is let go and allow his body to do his thing. Thanks to this humble mindset, it does not take Krillin long to re-enter and seemingly master Ultra Instinct. Though as his body carries him once more into battle, he sees that Tien and Vegeta have already taken quite the beating, buying him time. Appearing between them, Krillin begins to do battle with Jiren, meeting him as an equal and forcing him to use his full power just to stay in the fight. Seeing this, Vegeta and Tien fall back, with Tien's enlightenment allowing the pair to keep an eye on the fight as they confer. Even with his new strength, Krillin does not seem able to beat Jiren, and with the inconsistency of that form, it is only a matter of time before he gives out again. To this end, the Prince and twice transformed Triclops make a plan, with them re-entering the fray just as Krillin is beginning to return to normal. Recognizing that they don't have a moment to spare, the two warriors yell at their friend to move, and with complete trust in them, Krillin uses his last action of Ultra Instinct to preemptively flop onto his back, so the duo passes harmlessly over him, allowing them to rush in and slam to Jiren, where a final contest of strength begins. But before the Gray can try anything to get them off, he finds his limbs bound with dozens of ethereal hands growing from the shadows on Tien's body, a godly variant of the Four Witches technique being used to keep him bound, allowing he and Vegeta to sync up one more time and eliminate the 11th with a final combined push. And just like that, the tournament of power is over, with Universe 7 being declared the winners and Krillin being named the MVP. Floating down, the Grand Priest asks if the Saiyan has a wish in mind, telling him that he can have anything he desires. Though with a look of confidence that would make Goku blush, the bald man answers that all he wants is to see every destroyed universe be revived. Nodding, the Grand Priest summons Super Shenron and enacts the wish, with each of the erased contestants reappearing in the stands. While with matching smiles, their angels reveal that their universes have also been restored. With no further business here, the teams then all depart, with Team Universe 7 being transported back to Capsule Corp, where everyone is waiting, eager to party like there's no tomorrow, now that they know there indeed will be one. As a result, the celebration is a lavish one, with Bulma sparing no expense, though before it can wrap up, there is but one more matter that must be attended to. Approaching their fathers, the young hybrids with Kurizu at their head remind them of their promise, saying that since their universe was not erased, it's time they keep their end of the bargain. Suddenly, silence falls. Then in unison, Chi-Chi, Bulma, 18, Pizza, and Lunch all ask what their knuckle-headed husbands promised their kids. And as the warriors turn to face their wives, they feel far more fear than they ever did when facing down Jiren or anyone else today. But that, my friends, is where we'll be leaving this story off for right now. So, that
was the finale. That was a fire finale, man. Shout out to Krillin, boy. Krillin with the big win at the end. You know what I'm saying? We love Krillin out here, man. This is fire. Shout out to Plus for this video, man. We're going to watch GT the next one. But this is a great story, and check out the last chapter right here. Check out another video you might like right here, and I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.